Welcome, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another new episode. I'm your host, Aaron Deliosa, and this is an Immigrant's Life podcast. As a weekly reminder, if you'd like to stay connected, you can follow me on social media. Our handle is at an Immigrant's Life. Also, feel free to send me an email at animmigrantslife@yahoo.com. If you or someone you know would like to come on the podcast, that's the best way to get in touch with me. And once again, every week, I want to thank you for listening and being a part of this incredible journey. I appreciate you being here as your support means the world to me every day, every week. I really do appreciate it. On a personal note, it's a long weekend here in Canada, and it has been an absolute beauty. The weather has been so beautiful, and I took advantage of it. I bike 100 kilometers last Saturday. Sunday, I bike with my kiddos. We went fishing a little bit, and it's just beautiful. This is the beauty of having winter, is that you appreciate summer more because you always miss it, and you always have this feeling that it doesn't last long. So you try to squeeze in as much as activity that you can squeeze in that few months that we have here. And you know what? I love it. I enjoy it. I like it. And I hope you are enjoying your summer as well. If you are in the northern part, if you're in the southern part, you'll get yours soon, eh? Anyways, enough of the personal notes. Let's talk about this week's episode. Because this week's episode features a remarkable young woman who has been on an extraordinary journey. From her roots in East Turkestan to immigrating to Japan and settling in Canada. Her path has been nothing short of remarkable. You can only imagine the challenges she faced in learning, adapting, and assimilating into vastly different cultures. Yet, far from weakening her, these experiences have enriched her life in depth and texture. Speaking of texture, we also discuss how she launched her clothing brand from scratch, starting with almost no knowledge, driven only by her sheer determination and willpower. Of course, we talk more about other interesting topics, but I think I took enough time of yours, so let me get to the point. Without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is the founder of Madina Taklamakan. She's a modern woman who empowers others while honoring tradition to elevate Uyghur culture's allure. Everyone, please welcome Madina Mamat-Qira.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Madina Mamat-Qira. I live in Canada currently. I'm 22 years old and I am an Uyghur. I have my own clothing brand called Madina Taklamakan. So we started the clothing brand last year in September. It's doing great. We launched our first collection inspired by Uyghur culture, but designed it in a modern fashion. And we're launching our second collection very soon, end of April, hopefully. It's doing great, and I'm so happy to be here and have an interview with you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. Why don't you tell them your website or your Instagram or something like that you want to mention?
So our website is, you can just Google madinataklamakan.com. And then our Instagram is Madina Taklamakan, and our other social medias, Facebook, TikTok, they're all Madina Taklamakan.
Yeah. Amazing.
And our YouTube as well.
You guys have, oh yeah, I do. Yes, you know what? You do have YouTube. What am I talking about?
Because I did start one, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching one of your YouTube videos or two.
Yeah.
I watched the one that you were talking about yourself.
Yes, the journey.
I love that. Yes, yeah. I love that. Yes. And one thing I took from it, caught me by surprise, was you moved to Canada when you were 12 from Japan.
Yes, I did.
How did that happen? Obviously, you mentioned you're Uyghur. How did you guys end up in Japan?
So, my dad wanted to study Japanese when he was in his 20s, 30s, when I was young. So he decided to move to Japan, study there. So he moved there first, then my mom moved, and I was living with my grandparents. And then when I was 6, they moved me there to Japan with them. It was a really different experience. Even though like they in my home country they teach like Chinese. So I did go to the first year in elementary school there. And then they teach you Chinese, like those, Chinese characters and stuff. So I was familiar with that. I also learned or Uyghur language back home. And then we moved to Japan. It was so different, but then the Chinese character and Japanese characters are similar. And then everybody was in grade 1, so they were just learning too. So I didn't have that much hard time. And I was young too, so I learned Japanese fast.
What made your dad thought of learning Japanese?
I don't know. I guess at that time, like Japanese, like Japan was trendy, like
It's always
the
trendy.
culture, the culture and stuff. And he was a doctor back home.
Wow.
So he was working at a hospital, and then he went to Japan and then learned Japanese. Then he started teaching, Japanese kids like medical stuff. So yeah, so he wanted to go there. He loved the culture. And then my mom went to Japan with him. And I love Japan. It's great. Like I love the schools there. That was my favorite part. The culture, the people, they're amazing. Yeah.
What do you call the language, by the way? I always thought it's called Nihongo.
Yeah, it's Nihongo.
Nihongo, okay. I always say Nihongo. All right, Nihongo. Do you still speak it?
It's been pretty long, but I lived there for 6 years, so I know, when I hear it, I know 100% what they're talking about and everything. But when I came to Canada, I didn't practice it. I didn't have Japanese friends. I mean, my parents speak Japanese, but they prefer to speak Uyghur language at home. So I didn't get a chance to practice it a lot. But I still watch Japanese TV shows and stuff. So, I mean, now when I speak it right now, I don't speak it professionally, it doesn't, come out good. I have to think in my head first, then so
that's funny.
I mean,
but I love that you know how to speak Nihongo, and you could watch anime if you do watch anime, obviously. And you don't need to have a translation. You could just listen to it in the real form.
Yeah. That's the good part.
Yeah. It's so funny because before we started, my kid is watching Naruto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was trying to watch it with him, trying to pretend that I care, but
their animes are great.
I do like anime. I used to love anime, but it's just when I'm watching, it's bro, just get to the point. There's so much you punch someone and it takes a week before you connect.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't know that before I came to Canada, I didn't know that Japanese anime was that popular here.
Really?
I never knew that. So it was amazing. When I came here, people were talking about Japanese anime and asking me about it. It was, I didn't know. Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. So you moved to Canada when you were 12, which is preteen.
Yes.
And obviously, that's probably one of the hardest time of being a human, even.
Yes.
Did you speak English then?
No. So it was so hard for me when I came to Canada, comparing to moving from my hometown to Japan. It was easy, I made friends quickly. And I did have my friends back home in Japan. So I missed them, when I came here. It was hard. And when I went to school, I went to middle school when I came here. So it was really hard to get all, I did take English classes in Japan, but it was just all grammar. It wasn't about conversation, speaking to one another. So I did have hard time because Japanese and English is so different. So I did have hard time speaking English when I came here. And as people were friendly, my classmates, they wanted to be friends with me, and we did hang out and stuff. But at the same time, I didn't know English, so we couldn't have a conversation. I was just there with them whenever they go for lunch and stuff. But
Just
Yeah, it was
smile.
this, yeah, just smile, just laugh, and like it
Even
was
though
such
you
a
don't
hard
understand
time.
half of it.
Yeah, so like the first words are like yes, no, and maybe, and I don't know. Those are the words. Yeah, it was a really hard time. Even like it actually took me probably 2 to 3 years for me to speak like proper English, and yeah, until high school. First year was tough too, and at the same time, I had to like study as well. Like science was really hard for me because science, they use like those hard English words, so it was really hard. But yeah, right now it's good though. Those are the hard times. Yeah.
Why did you guys move to Canada?
So in Japan, so it's hard to get the Japanese passport, like so my dad lived there for about 10 years, but it was really hard for him to get the passport. I mean, he did have a good job, but it was hard. And then there, like the universities are really expensive, and you do have to pay for high school as well. So when you get into high school, like here in Canada, you don't have to pay, right? But in Canada, you do have to pay, and in university college, you do have to pay, and it's really expensive. So, and my dad wanted me to like learn English as well. So we moved here, and my sister was young, so it was good for her. I mean, she was born in Japan.
Hmm. Is she Japanese? Like, is that the thing?
No, they don't give the Japanese passport, even though you're born there.
Oh, okay.
um,
Can you be Japanese? How can you be a Japanese citizen?
I think, I think you have to live there longer, and
Okay.
then you have to like work for a Japanese company for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, because since my dad studied PhD, and then he became like a teacher for the medical students, but
Wow.
he wasn't he didn't work for a long time, so it was hard for him. So he had to work for another maybe like 5, 10 years for him to get a passport.
Your dad is a beast, man. Like a doctor.
Yeah,
Like screw this. I'm going to Japan to learn Nihongo, and I'm gonna
yeah,
teach this Japanese people about. I'm like, yo, what?
yeah. And he has PhD, which is I don't know how he did that, but yeah.
And here I am. I'm just trying to figure what 1 plus 1 is.
Yeah, so I'm really thankful for my dad because they sacrificed everything to come here, and obviously they had to learn English from,
Oh, so it's a normal story for immigrants that are professionals in their countries.
Yeah.
Your dad was a doctor turned
Hmm.
professor. Now he's
Yeah.
moving to Canada. What kind of job did he get first, and what does he do now?
I mean, it was hard for him. It was really hard for him. He did go into depression. So he was really like at beginning, he did have a hard time like learning English because he was in his 40s, right? So like it was hard for him. Now like he work at a like even though he wanted to, he could have learned like English, and then he could have gone into like the medical side of in Canada, like, but it was just really, really hard for him. So he did apply for other jobs, and he is working at a factory where they like Lush factory, where they make like bath bombs and like soaps and stuff. He likes that, but I just still feel bad that he sacrificed everything and he came here for me and my sister.
That is
Yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah,
he's a doctor, bro, and
yeah,
he's working in a factory. With all due respect, it's a good, decent job, but
yeah.
he's a Ferrari, and he's like a Honda Civic now.
Yes. So it really affected him like mentally as well
Mm,
because he studied all those years and
yeah. How about
but
mom? What's she doing?
my mom back home she worked at a bank. Back home she worked at the bank, and then he quit her job and went to Japan, and while she was in Japan she studied Japanese, and because my dad was studying in Japan, like he was doing his PhD, so my mom worked part-time. Like she had like 2 jobs in Japan, because in Japan, like here in Canada, like you can apply for some like benefits and like you can get money from the government, right? But in Japan they don't do that. So like she had to work 2 jobs, And like, yeah, and my dad was working in the weekend as well. In Japan, the life was hard, you know.
Did you find it harder there than here?
I mean, for me, I was a kid. I loved
Yeah. No, I'm talking
yeah.
about like the family.
Um, like here, it's easier. Like my mom is home right now. Like, she like take care of us. But like in Japan, she worked hard. I mean, she was young at that time too. But yeah, we did have a like good community in Japan, like an Uyghur community there.
Mm.
So it was good. But yeah, I think my mom prefers here than Japan because it's a little more chill. Yeah,
There's less
but
pressure.
pressure for her, yeah, because that time my dad was working, I mean, studying, so she had to like, you know, pay the bills and like get to, you know, take care of us. It was just me at that time, but still, you know, she wanted to have good things for us. So yeah.
Eventually, you start having friends and you actually communicated with them.
Yes. So my first friends were like in ESL class. So they didn't know English. So they were like learning English with me. So that time it was easier to communicate. Like I wasn't like shy to like speak, even
You know.
though the words came out wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So my first friends were from ESL. I mean, actually, my first friend in Canada was an Uyghur friend because like I can communicate with them, you know?
Yeah. You
So
still
we
speak
did.
Uyghur?
Yes, of course, I do.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
you, I've seen your pictures and I know you wear the hijab, right?
Yes. Yes.
When do you start wearing the hijab, like as a female?
Mm-hmm. So, back home, like my grandparents, my great grandparents, they like practice religion, like Islam. And then my parents, like my mom and my dad, like they didn't really practice back home, like because they worked and stuff. So they weren't religious. They didn't know about Islam much. They went to Japan. In Japan too, they don't really practice, and Japanese people all around. So there weren't any Muslims around us. Um, but my mom started practicing when I was 11, around that time. That time my grandpa passed away and my great grandpa passed away a week later. So it really affected her.
Of course.
So she started wearing the hijab that time, and she started practicing. And when we came to Canada, we did meet a lot of Muslim friends and Uyghurs in Canada. They were like practicing, you know, Islam. So I grew up like not eating pork and, you know, like stuff, but like my parents weren't as religious as now. So, and I came to Canada and I got influenced by my mom. And I also did watch this Turkish drama, and there was a girl about like hijab. She was wearing hijab and stuff. And I found her so beautiful. And I was like 11, not 12 at that time. So, and I got influenced by that. And then in high school, I started wearing in grade 9. And it wasn't like, it was normal because people in my high school, a lot of people were wearing hijab. So I felt comfortable wearing it. And then for 4 years, I wore hijab. And then the people I hang out with, they weren't wearing hijab at all, like my friends and stuff. So in college, I took it off.
Whoa.
I took it off. Yeah.
Wild
I took
lady
it
over
off.
here.
Yeah, I took it off. I regret it. That was a phase, you know, like my friends weren't wearing, like I wanted to fit in and all that stuff. And at the beginning when I wore my hijab, like I didn't know the purpose of it. Like I wore it because my mom wore it because I liked how the girl on the Turkish drama, she looked so pretty. So I wore it, you know, like I didn't know the purpose of it. That's why I think I took it off. And then after I got married, I started wearing it too. So it's been 2 years that I restart wearing it, and I love it. Yeah.
You mentioned the purpose of hijab.
Yeah.
Some people believes it's obviously this is outside looking in.
Yeah.
Some people believe it's based on religion. Some people base it on something else. for you and what you
Yeah.
understand, what's the purpose of wearing a hijab?
Purpose of wearing a hijab is, I think, just protecting myself and doing it for my religion. So, in the Quran, it says like to cover yourself, as much as like right now, the society, the beauty standards are different, like, pretty dresses, pretty hair, like makeup and all that stuff. But in the Quran, it says, to cover yourself, to protect yourself and stuff. So I'm doing it for not this life, for the hereafter. So that's what I learned. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna die, like you never know. So like that time when I wore it, like I should just do it now. Like there's not a right time. Like if I want to wear the hijab, like I should just do it now. So
Of
I
course.
just wear it.
Have you faced
Yeah.
any discrimination or Islamophobia towards you because of the hijab or?
Um like when I was in high school, I did like I was riding my bike with my hijab on. I was going to a library. And then like this white man, like he was an old guy. Like I just passed him by with my bike, and then
Classic.
he just called me a terrorist.
I love this guy.
That's the time. That's
Uh,
the only time actually. And then
uh,
right now, because my husband is in the Canadian military,
mm,
so I grew up in Toronto, so with my parents. But then his base, like Canadian, like the military base, is in away from the city. It's in Ontario, but it's like a smaller city, and there are a lot of like white people. So I did get like a lot of looks from them because they don't see a lot of hijabis there.
yeah.
So in that small city, I did. Yeah. I mean, they don't like say bad stuff about it. They're just curious, because
Yeah.
they never seen it. So
Yeah.
I try to take it positive and just try to introduce about like Islam and also about Uyghurs.
Yeah. That's
So yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. I love that you said that. Like, I take it
hmm
as a positive because, yes, most of the people are just curious. You
yeah,
have to understand they've never seen this thing. And then
yeah,
you suddenly expect them to just, oh, yeah, that's what they do.
yeah. They're curious, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there a mosque where you live or?
Yeah, there is actually. They started opening. There was, yeah, it's really small. We do go like on Fridays with my husband. It's small, but there are actually, I met a couple of Muslims because I didn't know there were like Muslims in that town. But yeah, I did get to meet them, and it's nice. It's small, but it's
Mhm.
nice.
I want to ask your opinion about this. I don't know if you saw this. There was this a
Hmm.
video. I believe it's in Toronto, and there's
Hmm.
like I don't know how many Muslim people. They just
Hmm.
and I understand Muslims at a certain time they have to pray wherever they are.
Yeah, yeah,
And but by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
yeah.
And they just start praying in the middle of the street. They block the whole city street
Okay.
to pray.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think awesome you're praying to Allah or like, come on guys, go on the side
Mm.
at least?
Yes. So I mean, yeah, you're supposed to do your prayers on time. So like wherever you are, you're supposed to take your wudu if you don't have, and then do your prayer. But I believe like you're supposed to do your prayer like where it's not crowded, like unless you're praying with other people like in a crowd. But if you want to do your own prayer, I believe that you're not supposed to like pray near like washrooms or like dirty place. So we do have a prayer mat like we put when we pray on the floor. But I believe like, and it's for yourself too. Like if you want to connect with Allah, like you're it should be a quiet place, so like when you're reciting, like you can hear yourself, so you don't get distracted when there's a lot of crowd. So I believe like you should go to place where it's less crowd. Yeah, I think you should do that. Yeah, or you can go to the mosque nearby, and pray. I don't think it's right to like, I don't think it's a good for Muslims that how they block the roads and put
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Uh,
it's not. Yeah.
I love hearing that from a Muslim, because
Yeah.
some people sometimes become defensive, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, dude, if you want to worship, I don't know, a goat, I don't care, dude. Just don't inconvenience other people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I saw the video, I'm like, all right, dude, you're doing this for you. You're not doing it
Yeah.
for Allah or some anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're not supposed to pray in a dirty area or something.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, you try to, if there is like a cleaner place, like for example, like we're not supposed to pray when there is like pictures hanging around, like statues
oh, no
around us.
way.
Yeah, so like,
Okay.
and if you're in, for example, if you're in a hotel room and if they put like a picture of somebody and stuff, you're supposed to cover it and then
Yeah.
pray. So,
Oh, okay. Because
so
I'm gonna assume
mhm.
that you don't want to perceive that you're actually praying for the statue or the picture. You just want to focus to Allah, right?
Yeah, that's true too. And then they say that because when you pray, the angels come, that's what we believe.
That's
So like
beautiful.
when you pray, so if there's like um statues and stuff, the angels won't come. Like maybe your prayers will get accepted, but I don't know, that God knows. They say that the angels are like scared to come into your room or like your hotel room or whatever in
Um,
your house if you put like a lot of statues and stuff. So
how long is the prayer?
how long? So
Yeah.
it depends on each prayer. Like in the morning, it's two
Okay.
rakah and then two sunnah prayers. So it's four. It depends. It's like in the morning, probably takes just 2 to 5 minutes. And then the longest one is in noon, like around noontime. Like that one probably take 10 minutes. It's not that long, honestly. But if you just can't have the time, like it's just only like 5 minutes. So everybody,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in a modern society, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
living in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're working, but if a person is working and
Mm-hmm.
he's working and doing his office job or whatever,
Yeah.
like how can a Muslim, uh, like not find a way, but like how can a Muslim
Yeah.
excuse himself, I guess, to pray, like find a
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
What if he cannot?
Yeah. So I did work as well,
Yeah.
Um, so the prayer times is like you have, for example, for the noon one, you have it till the next prayer. So the time between that is about like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
It depends on the time of the year, but the 3 to 4 hours. So you still have a time about that. So you can pray during your break or if you miss it, it's okay. Everybody makes mistake. If you miss it, you can come home and pray the ones that you missed at night
Okay.
or after your work. Like everybody makes mistake and everybody can like sleep in the morning, and then they can miss the prayer and then they can just make it up for it.
Mhm. You
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that you got married and then you started wearing the hijab. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And some people believe that hijab is a symbol of male oppression.
Yeah.
Why do you think people think that?
I don't know. I think they just don't know the purpose of it. Because girls like to wear, mini skirts and just feel pretty and stuff. So if other girl wears like hijab, try to cover herself, they think that's wrong. Like they think she's not doing it for herself. But I just think that's wrong. Like my husband didn't even like mention hijab to me after we got married. Like it's my choice and stuff. So he didn't really like say anything, and he knew that I wore hijab before as well, and he knows that his mom wears it and my mom wears it. So um like it was my choice, so I told him and he was happy. Like he was like, oh, do you. So
He grew up here.
yes, he came from our hometown
Oh,
to Vancouver when he was 6, so
mhm.
he's more Canadian than I am. Yeah, his English is good and stuff. So
That's funny. If
yeah.
you don't mind me asking, and I
Yeah.
know it's a normal thing in some culture, were you
Mhm.
guys what do you call it, like arranged marriage?
No.
Okay.
No,
You
no,
just
no.
you just met each other.
Yeah. So he's from Vancouver. So I'm from Toronto. So if he stayed in Vancouver, we would have not like met. But he joined the military when he was like 19. So he moved to Ontario, and like he's an Uyghur too.
Mm.
So he would like come to events and stuff, like Uyghur events. And there was this Muslim fest in Mississauga. So, and we did have like an Uyghur place we rented that we were like introducing Uyghurs to other Muslims and stuff. So he came there and we met there, and then we started talking, and then we got married after I graduated. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's talk
Yeah.
about your brand, Madina
Hmm.
Taklamakan, if I even
Yes.
pronounce that properly.
Yes, that's right.
Could you share with
Taklamakan.
us the story behind the funding of it and what
Yes.
inspired the business?
Yes. So Madina Taklamakan. Madina is obviously my first name. Taklamakan is a desert located in a Silk Road, so in our hometown. Um, so our brand started, like I said, last year in September. We wanted to start this brand to um, have knowledge to others about Uyghurs through fashion, through modern fashion. So I always wanted to start a clothing brand. That was my dream. So since I came to Canada when I was 12, that's the time I started getting interested in fashion. I started doing sketches of fashion, and I always wanted to do it. So in high school, I took classes that's necessary to get into fashion school. So like sewing classes, and I took some art classes, made it into AP art, and I got to build my fashion portfolio. And after I went to college for a 2 years program, the first year was amazing. You know, everybody was like competitive and they had the same mindset as me. They loved fashion and all that stuff. So the first year I got interested into the business side of fashion. So I started like painting t-shirts and selling them on my Instagram page. And then I also started like Redbubble. I don't know if you know what
What item that
Redbubble
is?
is. So it's like a website, like a platform where you can upload your arts, and they put your arts on t-shirts, on cups, on like all kinds of stuff. And they handle all the shipping fees, and they handle everything, the manufacturing as well. So I started that. I upload my arts and people buy. You get really little commission though, because
Yeah,
they
of
handle
course.
everything. Yeah. But that was just something, the business side that I wanted to sell, That's when it started. And the second year, COVID hit, unfortunately. It was really sad because second year, you can do like specific courses, like if you were interested in specific parts of fashion. So I was interested in wedding dress design. So I was going to take that. And then you were supposed to do fashion shows in your last year. And I was really excited for that. But COVID canceled everything, So I graduated the school just doing fashion on computer, which was really sad. Um, yeah. And then I was like planning on, because after I graduate my fashion school, I was planning on working for a brand, working for a fashion company and get experience, learn from their mistakes. So my end goal was to start a fashion brand on my own. But before that, I wanted to have experience. But then it was during COVID time, and the fashion brands were doing really bad after I graduated. And then I got married as well, moved to a smaller town. And that small town, they didn't even have like big malls. They didn't have retail stores. No way a fashion company. So I got married right after my husband like encouraged me, oh, you should just start your own, like,
Oh, that's awesome.
because we're in this small town, there's no way. So I planned for the brand for a year. It took literally a year because I didn't know what I was doing because nobody taught me how to start a clothing brand. I mean, they tell you like roughly at school, but they don't tell you like specifically like go to
Yeah,
this website, find this
yeah,
manufacturer.
yeah.
So
It's like somebody tell you how to build a house, like build the
yeah,
floor, the wall, and the roof. Like, okay,
yeah,
cool, but
yeah,
how?
yeah. That's really true. So it took me a year for me to do all my research, to design, to find a manufacturer. So yeah.
I love the
And
drive.
yeah, I did it like without knowing how it's gonna go. So I was like, just this is my dream. So let me just do it. If it doesn't work out, at least I can say I did what I liked.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Well, 2020 vision. Um,
Hmm.
do you love that you didn't know anything and start from literally zero, or would you have preferred that you knew something so you could be advanced more into the journey?
Yeah, so I can't really tell now because it's been only not even a year till we like launched the collection, but it's been doing really great. We grew like a big community. People have been very supportive. They like our journey and stuff. So it's been great, but maybe it could have been different if I had more experience, if I have saved more. I mean, I did save money when I was with my parents because I worked part-time. So I invested that money towards the brand, but maybe I could have worked for a company, saved more so I could launch bigger, could have been maybe different, but I'm happy where we are. Like we're able to launch another collection, which is something, and yeah.
Where are the clothes made from?
So our first collection is from Vietnam,
Okay.
from manufacturer from Vietnam.
I was
Uh,
thinking you China.
no, 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 no way. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not everywhere else but China. We would do. So this coming up collection, we decided to do it from with India.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's dresses, so they do have better source, I think. But the Vietnam one was really good. The quality was really good. So, but we were planning on doing this collection with Vietnam, but they made it a little bit more expensive. So I looked into other manufacturers, and then the India one was really good. So
How do you find these
so
manufacturers? Like, do you know someone or you just Googled them?
I just Googled them and emailed
Wow.
all of them. Yeah, it's hard to find honestly because at
Of
first
course.
time they didn't take you seriously because you didn't have your own,
Yeah, you're nobody,
brand. Yeah. So,
to
but
them at least.
The Vietnam, and of course, like, because we're new and we're small business, so we want to start small because I don't want to have a lot of inventory. I don't know how it's gonna sell, So to find a low MOQ, so low quantity was hard because a lot of brands, a lot of manufacturers, they do like big. They make a lot. They don't make small. So
Yeah, of course. What separates your brand from the quote unquote big brands of this type of clothing?
for us, I believe big brands waste a lot as well. Like they don't care about, how much inventory that's left. Like I think for us, we try to finish all the inventory, especially for Madina Taklamakan. I try not to restock. So if we launch one collection, that's it. Like we're not gonna restock. If it's sold out, it's sold out. Like we're gonna make new. So it's new for everybody. And it will sell out fast as well because it's like only a few pieces, So I try to do that so our customers can have new stuff, but then when there's new stuff, it's sold out, so they can't get it anymore. It's kind of,
Mm,
yeah, they have to fight for it in the future,
limited edition.
hopefully. Yeah, yeah, limited. Yeah, so we do that so that they don't have a lot of access to
I
the
love that.
collection. Yeah.
I love that. You mentioned earlier that you went to school for fashion and whatnot.
Hmm.
And earlier you talk about your YouTube channel, and I
Yeah.
watched one of your video, and
Hmm.
I understand that you got invited to go to London College of Design,
Yes, I did.
and Dad was like, "Go ahead," but Mom was like, that's not gonna happen."
Yeah. So I did. So in the last year of my high school, I did build my fashion portfolio in my AP class. It was mostly fashion illustrations because, like, in our high school, we didn't have a lot of sewing classes. So it was just my designs and illustrations. And then there was this fair going on at York University that me and my friend went. And a lot of students from all around the high schools, like in Canada, they would go there, show their portfolio to other schools in the world, and they would get accepted or get an interview and stuff. So we went there, and then my friend was going into art school. So she went around the art schools and showed her portfolio. I went around to fashion schools. I mean, I actually wasn't planning on going there because my friend wanted to go and I went. Like, I wasn't like planning on going outside of Canada and study. So I just wanted, there was this just program in near my house, fashion program. I was just gonna go there, but my friend wanted to go. So I was like, oh, let's try it. You know, why not? That's like experience, you know? So we went, I went around some couple of fashion schools, and then the London College of Fashion, they really liked my portfolio. So they did an interview outside of that fair. And then my dad was there, and I got accepted, and he was so happy, you know, for me, because the college is like pretty good, you know, because in Canada they don't have good fashion schools. Like it's all in Europe, all in New York or something. So he was really happy. But the tuition was, because I was going from Canada to UK, so the tuition was like international fee. So it was really expensive. So, but my dad was like, don't worry about the tuition. We're going to like find a way, you know, like he really wanted me to go because that was like an opportunity. And then my mom was really happy for me as well because she wanted to be a fashion designer when she was young, but she didn't pursue it because at that time, like it wasn't considered a good career, you know, in her parents' time. So she went to do like bank stuff. And then they both discussed, and they're like, oh, it's the other side of the world. And they didn't have any friends, or we don't have any relatives in the UK. So they're like, I was 17, 18 at the time. So they're like, oh, we don't want you to go because, you know, we don't know how the other side of the world is and how dangerous it is. And, you know, and I understand that now, but that time I really wanted to go.
Of course.
So it was, yeah.
Did it affect your relationship with your mom?
No, not really. But when I wanted to take off my hijab, my mom wasn't happy at that time. That was like the first year of college. So
How was
my mom
that?
wasn't happy.
How was that
Oh,
struggle
yeah.
between you know the culture of being quote unquote
Yeah.
Canadian and you know being a Muslim woman?
Yeah. So my mom, she didn't tell me to wear the hijab when I wanted to wear it in the first year of high school. So she was happy when she was proud of me. But then when I was like grade 11, grade 12, like I liked wearing like turban style hijabs. Like I wasn't covering my like neck fully and stuff. So my mom wasn't happy about that. She's like, you cannot take it off. Since then, she's like, no, you're not taking it off and stuff. So that affected me too because she was telling me to wear it and stuff. So I was wearing it for my mom at the end. And then I told my mom, like, I'm wearing it for you and like stuff. And then my mom was like, no. And yeah, it was hard, but at the end, it was my choice. So I took it off. She was really sad. Even though I took off my hijab, she wanted me to wear it like modestly, which I understand and which I did. But yeah, she was kind of upset, but she was really happy after I wore it again. Yeah. And then my sister started wearing it too after I wore it the second time, which made me happy. Yeah.
She sees the older sister, the cool sister, and she's like, I want to be like her.
Yeah. But yeah.
Your mom, you said your mom wanted to be a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to assume that you're the one who designs the clothing for your brand.
Yes.
Have you ever thought of including her and, you know, asking her, you know, her design or something like that?
Oh yes, she always like give me advices. She is like, whenever we get our samples from the manufacturer, she's like, oh, the shoulder is too low, like shoulder is too high, or the sleeves are too short or too long. She always give me advice. She's the one who gives me like really good advices. Like if I show it to my friends, maybe they will, but they were like, oh, it looks nice, they would just say that. But my
Yeah.
mom, she gives me good comments, and she knows, she sews at home.
Mm.
Like, she likes sewing. She likes sew dresses for my sister and stuff. And she knows, so I take her advice all the time. But
That's
I would
awesome.
actually, that's a good point. Like, I would actually like include my mom's design, maybe in the
Yeah,
future. That's actually good. Yeah.
yeah, that would be amazing, because you have follow your dream, and now
Yeah.
you could help her, chase her dream too, her original
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah. Actually, that's really good. Maybe, yeah, I really would love to do that. That would be amazing.
Awesome.
See
In
her.
each collection, how many clothing do you make?
So, right now, last collection we launched, we did 5 designs.
Okay.
But before that, like when I first started doing my research for the brand, and when I was preparing, I designed like 10 outfits. So that was like 20, 20 pieces of clothes, which was a lot. I didn't know about the financial side of it. So it was like too much. But I always wanted to do like maybe 10 collection, but we started small. Right now, like the dresses are going to be only 3 dresses. That's for launching very soon.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, we're doing small. I think it's the best. Yeah, for now. Yeah.
Did you sell out the first collection?
Yes. So 2
Amazing.
of our items are sell out. So the other one's only like a couple of pieces left. So it's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's great.
What
Yeah.
happened if,
Mhm.
God forbid, you
Mhm.
don't sell out? What's your plan?
Honestly, if we don't sell out, so I'm thinking, so in Canada and around our area, there's like events, Muslim Fest, like there's RIS, there like brands or like people come from all around the cities. They would come and sell their stuff, in the event. So I'm planning on maybe doing that if we don't sell out, like join the event, and so I can introduce our brand to the locals and maybe do that. Or yeah,
That's
never
amazing.
thought of that.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
idea. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and you could create more. You could create a community, and you could create
Yeah.
quote unquote fans of your work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
would donate as well. So I donate, like I paint as well. So I painted like a couple of paintings, and I donated to Uyghur mosque in like around us.
Oh, sweet.
So, and they do auction. So they would buy the painting, but then the money would go to the mosque. So I would donate the painting. Yeah. So maybe I do that with the collection if it doesn't sell out as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I think discovered you is through your painting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I love artists,
Yeah.
and I like your style. It's like you got that you got that Central Asian touch, but
Yes.
it because of the shape, it reminded me of that painting, this old man and an old woman.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding a pitchfork. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's like that style.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of it.
Yeah.
When did you start painting?
So I started painting way before I got interested into fashion. So my mom, when I was like 3, 4 years old, my mom put me into art lessons back home, like art courses, art classes. So since then I've been painting. I love painting. I do it on my side when I'm bored, when I'm just have my free time. I always took art classes, and art classes were my favorite at school. Then I never thought I could sell my arts, but I always painted for my friends for their birthday. Like I gifted my paintings and stuff, but I never thought I'll sell them. But until last year, like this winter in December, so I always like donated my arts to like mosque too. Like before last year, like beginning of last year, I donated a couple of paintings to mosque. I think from that people noticed that I paint. So from that, and then this Uyghur sister, this last December, she reached out to me. They were opening an Uyghur restaurant in Toronto. They're like, "Oh, we saw on your Instagram that you paint, and we love your painting. Are you able to paint for us, like for money?" And I was like, oh, that's great. I never thought I could paint for money. So I painted like 6 paintings for them for their restaurant. And since then, I posted, like, Instagram is amazing because I can reach out to my customers, I can just post. And then after I posted, I painted for a restaurant. A lot of people from the world, like Uyghurs, they reached out to me. Oh, I like your painting. Can you paint for us for our home? So yeah, so I've been painting till now, which is great. On the side, I paint for people for their homes. It's a customized, so I don't paint and sell. So they want specific things, and then I do a sketch, and then they like it, and then I paint. So I think that's more special because it's art, and they're gonna hang it at their house, so they customize it.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
the painting that I was talking about, it's called American Gothic.
Okay.
I
I
find
think
like the shape of the face that you do and the neck
yeah.
being elongated.
Long, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the first time I was like, this looks like in a sense like American Gothic.
Yeah.
I'm a wannabe art connoisseur.
Oh.
That's actually
Yeah.
one of my my project, not project, but I tried to collect artworks from immigrants
Mm-hmm.
and I display it in the house.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
only display art that are based from people that I know,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them are not most, all of them are immigrants.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do my own art. I
Yeah.
do calligraphy and I make
Mm-hmm.
my own paper, a recycled paper.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so anyways, it's not like beautiful painting like yours. You know what I'm saying?
It's creative.
It is
That's all that
creative.
matters.
It is
Yeah.
creative. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. How do you blend the modern aesthetic and the Uyghur
Mm-hmm.
culture designs?
Um, So I get inspired by what's trending in fashion. So like in my school too, they teach you like what's going to be trending. You have to prepare like a year in advance for the next year's trends and stuff. So I do get inspired by that, and I do my research, what colorways and what kind of designs are going to be inspired. And of course, I'm not like, even though I'm an Uyghur, like I don't know 100% of my culture, like I always do my research, I learn new stuff. So I do my research on the Uyghur culture and both with the modern fashion, and then from that I get the ideas and I put it into our designs for Madina Taklamakan. And then I tried to do like right now, like it was a trending like neutral colors, like more calming tones. And Uyghur culture is like very, I mean, it's beautiful. Like don't get me wrong, it's like a vibrant colors, vibrant colors and stuff. Um, so I try to do like more neutral, more minimal, but include our Uyghur culture. So that's my mission right now because that's what's trending. Because Uyghur culture, like atlas dresses, they're really colorful and people just wear it on like special occasions, like on
Yeah, the
weddings or
Atlas,
like,
right? It's called.
yeah, atlas dresses. So I want people to wear atlas dresses like on their everyday dresses, like going out for dinner or like going to a picnic with friends. And so
Yeah.
that's what was inspired for this coming up dress. I already told you,
Oh,
but
I
it's
love
not
that.
out yet, but it's special.
Oh, I'm excited to see
So
that. I know one
yeah.
of the dresses was worn by one of
Hmm.
our mutual friend, Malika Burieva, the
Yes,
amazing Malika Burieva. I love her
she's
to death.
amazing. Yeah,
That
me
dress
too.
is fire.
Yeah, that dress. Yeah, if it's so good on her, she was like willing to like help us out and just like, advertise for us. And she has a really good base. Like she has really good followers, like because she does like Central Asian stuff.
She's amazing.
And yeah, like I don't want to sell only to Uyghurs, I want to sell it to Central Asians. I want to sell it to the world so that people know about Uyghurs. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing. I love
Yeah, she's awesome.
her. Yeah.
You mentioned that you don't want to sell to just Uyghur or Central Asians. You want to sell it to the world, right? Of course, as
Yes.
a business person, yes, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the world, there's this cultural appropriation and whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you approach those people that don't want to be called out for cultural appropriation, but they want to wear the dress? How could you
Mm-hmm.
educate them for that?
I think like for Uyghurs, like we want people to know about us because until like recent years, nobody knew about us, like about Central Asia too. Like not a lot of people knew about us. So I did get a lot of DMs too on our page. They're like, oh, can we wear it too? We love it. Like that are not Uyghurs. Like, is it okay if we wear it? And like I'm like, yes, of course. I don't know why people like get offended when people wear their other people's culture. Like I think it's beautiful. Like they could educate each other, like they represent the culture. It's not only for those specific people. Like people from that culture would love if other people wear it because they're like, celebrating their culture as well. So yeah, I think I want people all around the world to wear the Uyghur culture and know about our brand and know about Uyghurs through the designs and, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said that your mission is to elevate Uyghur culture through your masterpieces. How can you help out the Uyghur situation and improve them through your fashion?
So from our social medias, Madina Taklamakan social medias, I do post our designs. I do post like photo shoots and behind the scenes and packing and everything. But I also try to like talk about the culture. So I posted like a couple of reels, I think just one for now, like talking about Atlas, what it is and like because we talk about Atlas a lot in our page. So I talked about that, like what it is, where it came from, who wears it, and all that stuff. So, of course, I do have to educate myself as well when I do those more cultural stuff. So I don't, do wrong, but so that I could talk about those cultural stuff so that I could educate our audience or community as well. So, yeah, not only our designs, I talk about,
That's awesome.
the culture. Yeah.
Listen, Madina, I think we're there. I really appreciate your time.
Yes.
But before we close out, do you have any last remarks or anything you'd like to impart us with?
Thank you for having me. First of all, like this opportunity is amazing as a small business, like small opportunities are really, something to grow. So, thank you for having me. And I want to say to whoever is listening, if you want to start a business or a clothing business, people say it's hard. I mean, it is hard, but just to start, like even if it fails, like you live only once, like you might not be able to do this again. So just start it if you want to, and just if you want to start a business, have a story to tell, like your background. If you're coming from other countries, I think it's important to share stories and let other people have knowledge about your background and tell stories through what you want to do. And I think from that, people get educated and people would love your business. And yeah, I think that's important to educate others about other culture and do a business through that. Yeah, I think it will be good. So yeah, that's my quote.
Beautiful. Why don't you
Yeah.
say your website and your Instagram account before we close out as well?
Yeah. So our Madina Taklamakan website where you can order our clothing is madinataklamakan.com. You can just Google it on Google. And and our social medias are, you can just search Madina Taklamakan, it will pop out. And then you can also go to our websites through our social medias as well.
Excellent. Again, Madina,
Thank
you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you
I really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me. Yeah.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much for this opportunity.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Again, Madina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Del Llosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys